I'll actually share a little bit about some of the research we've been doing and our team about the latest research in the last 5 or 10 years on what it means for trust on both the side of the nonprofit as well as the funder. But there's 3 things I wrote down that I wanted to share. That trust is deeply influenced by leadership humility, which is very interesting. Local engagement, how engaged are you in the local community that you currently are? And I think it leads to partnerships when we think about that. And then the third element I wanted to mention was clear communication, which I think leads to transparency, which we'll talk about a little later. But the importance of taking it from the perspective of the funder, and this will be published, so I'm happy to send it out. But I just wrote down, when funders move away from rigid grant requirements and instead engage in open dialogue with nonprofits, they build the trust. And then not only that, they share the power, which is, I think a few months ago, Nonprofit Hive did something which I actually loved, a conversation about the imbalance of power between funders and nonprofits. So I just think it's really important to recognize that there's trust that needs to be, both sides play a part into trust and what we both can do. So really a lot that we do is based off of this, all the research that shows trust and transparency, call it a chicken or egg. One comes from for the other, but they work very closely together, which leads to better outcomes through partnerships and whatnot. So a lot of research shows that when people or nonprofits are more transparent, better outcomes. But they also show that how you're transparent matters. So simply being transparent with your plans or your reporting, just to put it out there, actually shows that trust declines unless you involve impact reports, right? How you're impacting, and recent studies also showed your intention matters. If you're simply just posting it out there to show that you're being transparent, but you're not utilizing that data to make change, and this is a phrase that I wrote down that I thought was important, we need to embrace a culture of learning and reflection. So there's so much research shows that when nonprofits they share their limitations, their challenges, and their risks, because sometimes we're hesitant to share the challenges, it actually increases trust. So the more transparent we are in real conversations, which is, I like what the other 2 panelists have mentioned, right? The more real we can be, the funders actually trust you more, which leads to more resources, more support. And anyway, we feel very, very strongly about the importance of transparency. And I think financials is where a lot of our minds go, which is very important on how we share the financials. But we need to recognize that sharing the impact data and then showing that we're using it to improve are important. A lot to unpack there, but I wanted to kind of mention a lot of that.